Hey painting friends, it's Stoof here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing an experimental abstract landscape, which is not really my forte. This is a fun landscape painting that I wanted to create for a gift for my sister who is moving to a new apartment. She sent me about 30 different reference photos for her idea of what she would like to have as this painting, and I'm just kind of merging all of those ideas and the color palette that she has in mind. The room has a lot of like millennial gray and beige tones, so I'm going with a similar color scheme. I might end up adding more colors, but this is what I'm going to start out with. As you can see, we have a lot of white paint that I'll be blending in with all these others. I'll be using acrylic paint today. You guys are welcome to follow along with me while I work on this painting if this is something that you would like to recreate. The colors I'm using today I have listed in the description under this video. I'll be using these palette knives. I have a variety of palette knives that I'm working with today. I'm probably going to start out with this bigger guy and work my way smaller, and my goal is to get this done in an hour or less. As I mentioned, I'm merging a bunch of different ideas into one to create this painting, so I don't have one true reference photo that I'm working from here. It's kind of like what's going on up here mixed with what I have in all the pictures that she sent me. So let's see what happens. All right, so I'm starting by mixing some burnt umber with my titanium white, and a little bit of blue is going to get mixed in there as well. A little bit of that fleshy pink. All right, and I want to get my horizon line, so I want to go basically about halfway from top to bottom, maybe slightly below my halfway point. Just eyeballing it, halfway is about there. So let's just take... So I'm just taking the palette knife and brushing across the canvas here, just to give myself a good idea of where I want that horizon line to go. All right, looking at my color scheme with my little sketch, I'm gonna still follow the same general rules of landscape painting. So like having a little bit more contrast with the mountains closer to the viewer, less contrast in the background, having the mountains closer to the viewer, have a little bit warmer colors, and then the mountains farther in the distance a little cooler. So keeping that in mind, I'm also still looking at this general picture of what she's looking for here. I'm gonna put my first mountain peak about here. And just carry that down and down again. And I'm just laying things out for now. I'm gonna come back and go over these again. I just wanna see where my ridges need to be. And then I'm gonna have a bit of a reflection here. Got that first one blocked in. Next, I'm gonna start to mix in more white, a little bit of blue, a little bit of my oxide yellow color, and a little bit of pink. This is getting a little too cool. Maybe a hint of that yellow too, but that yellow is stronger than I thought. Raw sienna. Gonna have 3 here, so we're gonna have 1 out there, and this one's gonna kind of come down. We got another guy coming up right about there. Down. Another one's gonna come up from there and down to about there. All right, got these blocked in. Moving over here, I just want a little bit more purple. So I'm mixing in a little bit more pink, a little bit more blue. A little sienna got in there too. This is a very subtle color change. This. Okay, I'm mixing in more brown just to go closer to that original color. I'm going to carry this ridge out some more to the side. Same thing down here. There's a horizon line. Alright, I'm going to block in the reflections for these guys, so just a quick little dot for where I want the peaks to be and the ridges, the valleys. This one's about there. Okay. And then we're gonna go like this. Down. This. Down. Okay, getting these reflections. Same over here. It's going down at this angle here, so the reflection would go like this here. And it helps to align your peaks for the reflections as well. I want to put like a little closer up body of land right here. Like this is a big lake and I want to have like a piece of the lake kind of coming out right here. So I'm going to have more contrast there. I'm mixing in more umber with some yellow and some light ultramarine blue. I'll take a little bit of that ochre color, mix that in about right here. So here's halfway. It doesn't quite come halfway. Going up, it's kind of cutting in right here in the reflection and making its way across. And you can put this wherever you want. You can even decide if you don't want to have this here, you don't need that. And then I'm going to bring this down. Taking more umber and blue. Just squeegee it across here. Got an idea of where that's gonna be. So now I know where everything is going to lay out, and I'm gonna start to have some fun with the painting. First I'm gonna add a little bit to the sky and the reflection just to give it just a little bit more color. And then I'm gonna start to work more on the mountains and adding in a couple trees later. For the sky, I'm gonna start by mixing a lot more white and just like a tiny bit of this ochre color. If you have like a light yellow, warm yellow, that'll be good. And just getting it good all over the palette knife. I'm mixing it in a spot where I had some other colors, so it's getting tiny little bits of those other colors mixed in as well. And you can have a lot of fun with this. You can do your palette knife strokes in a way that it looks like kind of like clouds moving, or just do them straight across if you want to have it very controlled looking. I'm mixing in just a tad bit of my primary yellow now. And for me, it's really important that I'm coming right to those mountains. I don't want to leave any white space right in between there. As I'm getting farther down, this is like really far in the background here, so I'm going to start getting more close together palette knife strokes, and that should help show a little bit of distance in this abstract landscape. Mixing in a little bit more of that yellow. I really like using this texture from the paint to create the look of clouds. And I'm dragging them out and getting larger palette knife strokes as we're getting closer to the top of the canvas, and that's making it look like these clouds up here are bigger and closer to us, even though they're not painted in a realistic style. All right, for my shadows, I'm mixing in a little bit of my light ultramarine blue with my pink, and some yellow got in there too. So it's kind of like mixing all of the primary colors, even though they're all not really your true primary colors. Mixing in a little bit of that oxide color. Now I need to mix in more blue and pink because that oxide color is strongly pigmented. All right, that's closer to what I'm looking for. More pink. There we go. All right, I really like that color. I just want it to go up in value, so I'm mixing in more white. Okay, and now that's a good color. Now for that I can use for little shadows in my clouds. And I'm just going back and forth with the palette knife, kind of swirling it around to let it give me that texture and puffiness look. I'm gonna do the same thing over on this side. Just add a couple subtle shadows to these clouds. It helps to step back from it every now and then. For your view here, it looks very subtle. So I'm gonna show you guys up close real quick. All right, here's how the sky is looking from closer up. You can see a lot more of the texture and the variation in the colors and the palette knife strokes up close. Next, I want to carry that down to the reflection here. So I'm mostly just taking my white again, little bits of yellow. Okay, next I'm going to be working on the mountains and making my way closer to the foreground with the mountains. I want to get a color close to what I had here so that I can retrace over these ridge lines. It's probably not going to be perfect, but the goal is to get something close to that color again. So I'm mixing in that oxide with a little bit of blue and some pink. A little bit of raw sienna, more pink, and more blue, and more pink. Test that out. Yep, that's pretty close. I'm just gonna mix a hint more white in. All right, and that's good. Now I'm gonna just go back over those ridge lines again. I might actually make that even lighter by mixing in more white. I'm mixing more white in as I'm getting off to the side here. And I'm mixing more white in as we're getting lower down on the mountain away from the ridge. Just going back and forth with the palette knife, pushing onto the canvas. Blending a little bit. Keeping my palette knife marks going this direction. And I'm going to take just some white here. And those brush strokes are basically just going back and forth because we want them to be similar to that horizon line. Okay, and then these ones, we're going to keep that extra white that's in there. Add a little bit more pink. And blue. And then some more white. And I'm starting from where this ridge here is no longer visible. Just kind of covering up that white space, keeping all the Knife marks the same. Kind of just blend in here a little more too. And then back here, let's do even more white than just blue. Which kind of reads as gray. It gives me more of like a cool gray. All right, we take more white. And with the white to go at that ridge and up. Cool, I like that a lot. Now we're just gonna do the same with the reflection. Again, this ridge has more pink and blue with that oxide color. And then we mix in more white. Okay, next I'm going to take these ones, just do the same kind of thing, mix in a little bit more of that oxide color, some yellow and pink, and white. And do our ridge right there. And do a little bit of blue mixed in there too, actually. More purple. More pink to make purple. Okay. Good. More whites right here. Right there. Okay, same thing with the reflection. And a little bit of that raw sienna color got in there. Just pushing the paint around. All right, now I'm taking a step back. I like how that looks. I think I want to calm down this one brush stroke here. The texture is just a little too intense for me. And same with that guy. Okay, looking good though. All right, now I'm gonna go to this mountain closer to the foreground. Burnt umber. And a little bit of our raw sienna. And a little bit of blue and yellow. How's that? I think I want it a little bit darker in value. I'm going to mix in a little bit more of this oxide color. A little more blue. Yeah, that's good. That color also, I think, goes a little better with everything else. Kind of want to make this mountain a little bigger. Okay, I got that ridge. I'm gonna do the reflection now, and then we'll start to mix in some white. So an important thing here is that this mountain has a darker value than all the mountains behind it, and that helps us know that this mountain is closest to the viewer. So value is how light to dark something is, so this is a little bit darker than that, which is just behind it, so we want that to make sure in your painting that you're kind of following the same principles. This should be a little bit darker than the stuff behind it. And don't be afraid to mix in a lot of white. I'm barely adding any other colors. White is definitely the color that I'm using the most of, as you can see. Okay, mixing in more white. And just a tiny bit of yellow and pink. I'm just going to blend this. So putting the color down, dragging it out. And at this horizon line, you just want to make sure you're continuing to do that mirror image. And I like how we still had some elements of that brown. So I'm gonna go back and add a little bit of that with a little bit more blue. So I'm adding just a little ultramarine blue. And then I'm gonna add this brown blue to make a shoreline here. That horizon line is gonna come back. And I'm gonna do that by taking the palette knife and just doing some little dabs, holding the brush, or holding the knife that way. And I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna be blocking the camera because I need this to be nice and horizontal. Looks good. I'm gonna get the extra paint off of the palette knife there. Just wanna blend this back in. I'm just looking at spots that I think have too much texture right now. Just cleaning those up a little bit. All right, so next I'm really just using this one large palette knife, this whole painting. Now I'm just gonna take some white and I'm going to take the palette knife, just kind of dab it right in the white there and start to add little bits, streaks of white under that just to show where we have a little bit of water, a little highlight on the water. Back and forth, just running with these nice horizontal type streaks. I just very gently went over a couple spots with that palette knife. The last thing I want to do is work on this guy over here, where we're going to have our trees. So I'm going to mix some more brown with blue, a little bit of yellow. Get a nice deep color there. Tree here. One here. One here. And one up here. Okay, so I just took the palette knife to put some tree stumps in. Now I'm gonna take the knife and take some more blue, a little bit of that raw sienna color. Dab the knife. This is where a different palette knife will probably work better. So I'm gonna switch to this guy, angled one, and more like a shape like a diamond. And just adding these little dabs, pushing the paint around a little bit, just dabbing it in other areas. Mixing up the colors a little. Get some subtle little highlights in here. I'll mix some more brown and blue with my Sienna white. And I'm just gonna add the trunk back in a couple spots. Pressing different angles to get these nice tree limbs. A little bit more blue mixing in here for some shadows. Taking more brown. And blue. I'm going to take a little more blue with my raw, that oxide color. And I'm going to take more pink. More blue. Pink. To get a little bit more of a purple, gray type of color here. And I'm going to put in some, let's see, let's do some little rocks or something on the boundary here. A nice sharp boundary. Take some white. Really highlights on the rock. I'm going to mix in more of my Sienna color with some blue. And some of that yellow, warm yellow color. And some pink. And white. And I'm just gonna put a couple grasses in here. Basically just doing a few brush strokes like this around random spots. Taking more brown and blue, just to give a little bit of warmth in there. Mixed in some white. All right, that color's pretty close again. And just following the mirror reflection again. So from here, it's gonna be more like and same thing, gonna dab to add some nice little reflection of branches, but it's water and I want it to be a little choppy, so it's gonna be kind of different. Not exactly a perfect mirror of what we have above. Back and forth there. And then here I'm going to mix in more brown and blue to get a good shadow color. Mix a little bit of umber, raw sienna in there as well. And a little bit of that bronze color. Okay. And I'm just going to put little shadows right here. And I'm just gonna make this whole bottom part that color. Okay. And a little bit more of these warmer colors for some reflections. Okay, and then I just need a little more white, again, for that little bit of reflection on the water. All right. Guys, here is the finished painting. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. It didn't quite turn out like I expected it to. I am really happy with the way the mountains turned out and the reflection. I like the color scheme, like the color palette worked out just as I envisioned. I like the clouds in the sky as well. The thing that I don't like too much is this area right here. I do like the trees, but I don't necessarily like that shoreline. So I might fiddle with that a little bit. I'm gonna send a picture of this to my sister because this is a gift for her new apartment. This was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed this. So again, if you're not subscribed to my channel and you enjoy my tutorials, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful day and happy painting. Bye-bye.